Okay, so we're back in season two, episode one of I Tell You What. So I don't know if a lot of y'all realize this, and I know, yikes, but guess what? The melanin on my skin happen to be what most people would coin as an African American, or more popular today, Black American, which I prefer that, you know, even better. So, because I've never been to Africa, so I couldn't tell you. Um, I do for the most part. I know my ancestry and my family lineage, so I don't mind either or, to be honest. But it is what it is. Given that it's Black History Month, this episode I'm definitely touch on some things for Black history. That's at the forefront. That's just gonna happen. I'm gonna touch on some stuff for Valentine's Day. We're in the month of February, and it ain't gonna be necessarily too much or too big. I'm not gonna stick there and harbor on it. Um, First things first, man. As y'all see, definitely, I've definitely put on, you know, some weight. I've been through some things since season one. Uh, Season one to now, I want to say in the midst of season one, even. I think no, season one was 2020. Yeah, been a few years. So yeah, from season one to now, I got married. I lost my mother. My wife lost her brother. A lot of things all around. Cut some ties, but a lot of stress and a lot of how do you put this? A lot of depression, emotional baggage, and all that. But I'll save that all for my mental health segment later on. Right now, we're finna hop into this and get real hot and heavy, quick like. All right. So, how many of y'all know about a guy named Walter Placard? Probably not a whole lot. And for those of you that do and is setting off all types of alarms, it should. It really should. Especially for a lot of you who look in the mirror and y'all look like me. Should set off so many alarms. Because I'm going to tell you what, how many of you guys know about paper genocide? Well, those things are synonymous, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because Walter Placard pretty much eliminated a whole people, okay? He eliminated a whole people overnight. You know, between Arizona, Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, probably around the 1870s, Placard and the powers that be wanted more land. They wanted to gain more land. They want to consolidate more land and control more land. Okay. And like I say, you got Arizona, Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, and they were just like, well, these colored people have too much land. And to justify that, anybody that was Native American, whether they, married or had children with black people or African American slaves or former slaves at that time, they intermingled. Regardless of that, regardless of that, like no chance was taken. So he pretty much classified all Native Americans that were born 1870 and after as either mulatto, being that they were white and black, or that they were just straight Negro. They were just straight black. So, and this is all facts. Y'all can look this up. But this was even changed on the census. Like instead of them being like Indian or Native American, and getting all the rights afforded to them, all their rights were stripped. They went back on the census and changed them to black or number two, which is is black people. and they pretty much kicked these people off of their land. And that was the second, besides the Trail of Tears, like that was the second like biggest blow to the Native American, people. Like they pretty much had their whole identities taken away from them. They pretty much had their lives and everything just stripped away from them. And for what? For greed. And it don't just stop there. Like it got worse, bro. It got way worse. Um, you've got that went on for some years, probably until like the 1920s, I want to say. Then you've got the Pocahontas exemption. That's some shit you might want to look into too. So with the Pocahontas exemption, pretty much it got stated that you own no land and that you came from, black people, unless you could trace your roots back to Pocahontas. And pretty much the only people that this benefited was white people. And I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, but I I obviously worked at a prison before, and I won a bet because I told one of my coworkers, I was just like, man, because he just happened to be mentioning some stuff because he was saying how he got real tan and stuff, and that's no disrespect to his ancestors and stuff. And that's no disrespect to anything, but he was talking about how he get real tan and stuff, and that's because he got Indian in him and stuff. Between me and you, the reality is a lot of these people that feel they got Native American in them got black in them. But that's a conversation for a little bit down the road. So in any case, though, somebody get real tan because he got Native American in his family, blah blah blah. And my other coworker that was on the wing with me at the night, he just happened to be of the Caucasian persuasion too. So he wanted to mention that he he might have some Native American in him too. So when that happened, I was just like, man. Hmm. And so I spawned the question I had to ask. I was just like, hey, why is it all white people, and I do mean all white people, claim that they've got Native American in them family, preferably from their grandmother? And they both just looked at me. He's like, well, I do got Native American in me. And yeah, it's on my grandmama. But no, I really do. And I told him, I bet you anything, it's Cherokee. And he just got quiet and didn't say nothing. And so we had a inmate. He was our first stop when we did our rounds. And I was like, I bet you anything. We walk up to that cell, as white as he is, and he was white, like he's like a Russian and German white, that type of white. So like, I told him, I was like, man, I bet you anything. But he's from America. He is, where he come from is Russian and German and stuff lineage, but he was born and raised here in America. But so anyway, I was like, man, I bet you anything. We walk up to him and we ask him if he got any Indian in him. I bet you he'll say yeah. I bet you. And we weren't yelling this, so there's no way to mimic it. Like we was talking amongst ourselves low. I bet you he'll say yeah. I bet you he'll say it's from his grandmom. And I bet you he'll say it's Cherokee. And I ain't finna say what we wagered, but he was like, I call that. We walk up to his cell. I didn't give no indicators. He's asking all the questions. So he's like, hey, inmate so and so, you got any Indian in you? What he's or how do you phrase? He's like, what are you? He's like, well, I'm white. And then he's like, you got an Indian in you? And he's just like, no. He's like, I ain't got no Indian in me. He's like, 'cause we knew this already. He's an older, guy and all this stuff. Like, we knew the likelihood of it was like very slim to none. So as soon as he said no, and he took a minute, and so my coworker turned to me with the biggest Grinch smile, and he was cheesing and he was feeling himself, and it was good, it was all great. Hey, man, kudos to him. He was like, I won that bet. Then the inmate paused. He paused and he thought. Well, and boy, when I say that smile turned into agony, well, yeah, I do have a little bit in me. And, and I asked him, I was just like, what from what tribe? You know, he's talking, oh, from Cherokee on my grandmother's side. And I just couldn't help but laugh. Like it's common knowledge. Like that, hey, y'all, hey, everybody, they do that a lot, man. Swear up and down. Like there's so many nations out there, Native American nations, and I don't know, for whatever reason, that's the one they want to claim. So I digress. Back to it though. Pretty much with the Pocahontas thing though, what that states is quite simple. You know, it pretty much covers everybody. Like I said, I think it came about in the 1920s, And in the 1920s, they were pretty much like, if you have one drop of Negro blood in you, okay. This is making it even more extreme because when they rebranded people on paper and they got rid of everything, they pretty much messed it up for the Native Americans then. But then in the 1920s, it got worse. They were like, if you got one drop of Negro blood in you, or you're Negro blood or Native American blood, like so, because they had to cover all their bases, bro. So even if you were black or Native American and you were white, you was considered black. And this was in Rockbridge, Virginia. They invented this, and they said, yeah, if it's one drop of Negro blood or Native American blood, unless it was from Pocahontas tribe, and you were directly related to Pocahontas, because John Smith and all them people and all that shit. Like, unless you were directly related to Pocahontas, then you a nigga. At the end of the day, you black. And so, pretty much after that, things got crazy, and every white person in the world automatically became, not in the world, but from Rockbridge, Virginia, became automatically related to Pocahontas. Whether it was true or not, they became related to Pocahontas. And boy, 23andMe and Ancestry is breaking down some people. But yeah, nah, yeah, everybody was related to Pocahontas for whatever reason, to gain land, to kick people off of theirs. They were doing their thing. Um, Moving on past all that, though, you get into, President J. Edgar Hoover, and boy, um, Hoover was a piece of work, bro. Hoover was a real piece of work. Um, for the simple fact that, like, he really wanted to deny African American humanity at the end of the day. Before president, he was like the director of the Bureau of Investigation, which was pretty much created primarily for national terrorism. And I mean, that's pretty much what it is. We know it today as the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but it was created pretty much to keep tabs on black people. Again, do your research. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. Um, Google it. Google it. That's all I can tell you. But no, it was created to pretty much, or Chat GPT it. Chat GPT Chat GPT now. Like, but he looked into pretty much black leaders of the community to make sure that we didn't stumble upon anything too grand or too great to unite the culture. He was really against that. He was really for division in the culture, and he was really against uniting the culture as a whole. So, I mean, nothing you can really do about that. It is what it is. Um, his greatest fear as a president was the rise of, and his words, not mine. The number one mandate was the rise of a black messiah. He wanted to prevent that. He wanted to prevent the rise of a black messiah. He couldn't take that. He was just like, nah, this shit can't come. This shit cannot happen. I will not stand for it. So he primarily looked into two predominant figures at that time. He looked into Malcolm X. He looked into Martin Luther King. Now, that right there is a theory upon theories and a rabbit hole that I'm not going to get into on my podcast, but I do invite y'all to do your own research. If y'all ever want to, come with the receipts and actual due diligence, I'm open to have a discussion, and I'm open to all theories and all possibilities. But I do know that he did pay close attention to, Martin Luther King. He did pay close attention to Malcolm X. Uh, the Black Judas, I think, is the name of the movie though. It's with old boy from Get Out. That's another thing to look into. All true events, all factual. Like they have fact checked it. So I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure. It's got to be on one of these streaming platforms, but that's something to look into. J. Edgar Hoover was in power at the time. The dots make sense. I'm just saying. But he definitely didn't want the culture coming together. He wanted division in the culture. He wanted black people to stay in their place. Segregation wasn't what it was, whatever to him. He never hired one black man for his special forces, or not special forces, but probably that too. But his Secret Service thing, like he didn't want any Negro in his Secret Service detail, because his true founded belief was that the Negro people are inferior to white people. That was his founded belief in that. Like he was 10 toes down in that. So, um, yeah, that's just what it is. And some people today, and it's not their fault. I don't hold them accountable. Um, People are born supremely ignorant, and ain't nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you can do about that. A few months back, my daughter was called a racial slur at her job. She's 16. She had just got a job, and obviously, fast food. Come on, 16-year-olds, and she was called a racial slur at her job. And what are you going to do about that? You know, except pray for people. I would love to have been able to do something else about that, but again, I can't really go vigilante and take the law into my own hands. Throwing on a mask don't give me a badge. But again, these are topics for another time that I'm not going to really jump into right now. We're going to keep it, about the facts and less about opinions. But yeah, there's ignorant people all over. And these people don't just come from nothing. How do I put that? Yeah, these people didn't come from nothing. They didn't come from doing anything and all that though. Um, what that comes from is they were raised that way. I could raise my children to be severely cynical of white people, and I wouldn't be wrong based upon my life's experiences, my parents' life's experiences, all types of stuff, and I wouldn't be in the wrong. But the reality of it is, that's not the way I want to raise my children. To be fearful, to have hate. I want to raise them to be cautious, to be responsible, but never fearful. Um, like a lot of shit done happened under the watch of our country, a country that we're so intricately woven into the infrastructure that they could say, oh, well, America would still be America. It would not without black people. America wouldn't be America without Asian people. America damn sure wouldn't be current America without Hispanics. I mean, it is what it is. But they constantly would deny our rights of humanity, and that's just the thing though. Back in slave times, black people were looked at less than the damn dog, and that's was wild. Like the family dog had a higher status uh than the Negro. And I'll never get that. Today, some black people still have a chip on their shoulder because they feel that they still have to prove themselves in this country, and they were born and raised in this country. Some people have died in this country. Some people done gave their life for this country. Some people wear the uniforms that help serve and protect the communities in this country, and it's still, it's not enough in certain eyes. And in those eyes, the reason why it's not enough is because their grandfather, their grandmother, their great grandparents, and whatever passed down a mandate through their family to their kids to be like, oh, still keep hate in your heart, still keep ignorance in your heart. And at some point, we as people got to take responsibility for ourselves as adults. As what are we going to choose when we're out from up under that thumb? I understand when you're living under somebody's roof, you got to act accordingly and do a certain thing. But once you get out in the world yourself and you're able to do shit, you should get out in the world for yourself and be able to do shit. Fuck what everybody else talking about, man. Take care of you. So that's that. Now, that being said, you know, there's been a lot of travesties in this country as far as national terrorism, where the country has turned its weapons on black people. And that's been in a lot of places, that's been in Chicago, that's been in Detroit, I've got a shirt on pretty much that's covering all of them. You know, it's the stories that I've come upon, and I wasn't looking for them. The knowledge found me. I ain't looked for the knowledge; it was given, and I'm thankful that it was. But do you know that built in, they've blocked in cities? Okay, huge domes, barricades and stuff. Not domes, but barricades, blocked in cities. Okay, and flooded them out and turned them into man-made lakes. This shit not happen. They made it so, and they ain't even just do it like where people were gone. Okay, they ain't do it like, oh, okay, well, these people are gone and we evacuated the city. They did it while most of them were still there, and just put bodies under the lake, thousands of bodies, millions of bodies. Like, you wonder why horror movies are like that, bro, because some foul shit been done in this country. So America loves to point the finger and be the morally good guys. But politically, I'm gonna tell you like this. I can't stand for either party. I can't stand for either party. You know, they've got this thing that's going on right now where, I pray and hope that the victims are gonna get some crumb of vindication. Justice has been gone. They'll never get justice. Justice is dead. That shit's done. Like, they will never get justice for what happened to them. And that's just me speaking plain and saying the quiet thing out loud. But I hope that they get vindication for what's been done to them, and they are able to rest easier at night. And I pray that it never happens to anyone else. But the reality of it is simply this right here. This country as a whole, on both sides of the house, has turned a blind eye. And then they stunt. And that's the shit that's sickening the most. Each side has their time in the light where they stunt and try to take the morally high ground. And then they turn their heads and they close their eyes when it's, something that's going to make them look bad. They justify when it's something that's going to make them look bad. If we've had these files for how many years and not did shit about it, that's wild. Bush, in plain sight, around the time that they caught Epstein, the only person that could allow him to cut a deal, and this is like when he first got called, Bush was in office and stuff. I think that was like '06. Bush was already in office, and he vetoed that. So that was on him. That was the Republican Party. Obama got in office. He had all these documentations and files in front of him. 2 terms. Black president, Democratic president. Nothing happened. Trump, first term, nothing happened. Biden, nothing happened. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like, I find it hard to pick and choose and bolster up heroes. It, it's all the same, man. Like, that's my 2 cents on it. But with that being said, about the culture, um, my pigmentation, okay, the melanin on my skin, the shape of my lips, which my wife tells me all the time, are beautiful, the shape of my nose, everything about me, my mannerisms, where I grew up, how I grew up, how I learned to respect things, pronunciation that I use on words. And yeah, I do code switch. I do. I absolutely code switch. I talk plain, but I do code switch. And that's inherent. I can't help it. I can't help it. That's inherent. I code switch every day. Like, and we all do. We all have the ability to. I won't say we all do. We all have the ability to. And that's just how we've been taught to move in America, you know. But we should always, one, preserve our pride as human beings above all else. Whether I'm black, whether I'm white, whether I'm yellow, brown, whether I'm green, blue, pink, jade, diamond, or gold, or silver. First and foremost, I'm always a man, and I expect to be shown respect as a man throughout the rest of my life. Like, just respect me first before you see the color, you know? And I'm going to show you that same respect, be it man, woman, or child. Respect me, and I'm going to respect you. It's just that simple. And if it comes down to a contest of ignorance, I have no time for it. Me, I'm of an unforgiving nature these days. I choose violence all the time, and I put out the same energy that's put out to me. It's not gonna be any turn the other cheek. That was Dr. King's philosophy. It's not necessarily gonna be by any means necessary. That was Malcolm's philosophy. It's Frank's philosophy though. It's gonna be, I'm gonna create the world that I wish to see. And that ain't me, that's Gandhi, but I do truly believe in that, and I will be a change that, sparks that. And I can only control what's in my universe. My universe is everything that's around me. If I'm the center of the universe, everything that's around me is in my orbit. And what I allow in my orbit, that's my fault. What I choose to, reject from my orbit, that's my choice. And I'm just gonna start making better choices. Um, I don't want anything coming in that's gonna cause me excess stress. I'm already getting enough natural stress as it is just from living and existing, being a man in America. I'm catching enough stress. So when people try to throw that on top of it, being a black man in America, I already know. I've lived that all my life. So ain't nothing nobody can ever tell me about that, but just being a man, period, trying to live life. It's stress. So, that's my closing statements on that. On to other topics. Uh so this also being February, the time of this recording is Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Couples, men and women. My advice to you, don't. And I ain't trying to be like, uh, the song and shit. Don't. But don't. Like, stop. Stop forcing shit. You got some couples that are breaking up right before Valentine's only so they don't have to get each other. And I don't mean just men, I mean women too, so they don't have to get the other person no shit. And then they finna reconvene probably over next week. Like by Wednesday, Thursday next time, they'll be back together, and they'll get some bullshit, gift because they weren't together at Valentine's. So it ain't gonna be that build up gift that it would have been like we've been together this long. So, and what I mean by don't force the shit is this right here. If you and your person ain't clicking and the talking ain't getting nowhere, and it's like talking to a brick wall, or like they still go out of their way to do shit that you just don't vibe with, stop. Don't force that shit. I mean, it just ain't gonna go nowhere. Don't. Can't force love. Can't force happiness. You can't force a relationship that just ain't gonna happen. People are going to be people, and it's time that people continue to be people and be grown and hold themselves accountable. Like, I can hold somebody accountable all day and try to hold their feet to the fire. That shit ain't gonna change. People need to hold themselves accountable. That way they can be, responsible adults. Like, for the men, okay, if you're laying on your ass, you ain't doing shit. You don't clean the house. You don't have no job, but you handy. You know how to fix a car, and that's your only worth. You know how to do mechanic shit. You know how to, build shit and fix shit. You do have value. You just don't have enough value. So you need to get with you a chick that matches your energy and matches your value. Because if you with a woman that's paying all the bills, taking care of everything, putting food in the house, cooking the food, doing the laundry, doing all this other stuff, and you ain't really doing shit, you don't deserve no ass. But you're still going to expect ass. And you don't deserve any, but you're going to want it. And she's not going to be feel inclined to give it to you. Like, that's just reality. Y'all ain't on the same wavelength, because now, like I said, you lay on your ass, you sit on your ass. She also got to clean the house. She ain't feeling like enough energy or juiced up to do anything with you. That shit dead. And if you thinking, oh, well, what I do for her in the bedroom, keep her locked down. Bro, it's people that get paid to do that for a living. That's how good they is. She with you by choice. Really lay down that logic. Think about it. So, with that being said, let's flip that coin. All right, now we on to the brother that, okay, you might work 14 to 18 hours. You provide. You don't make one sound. Your old lady tell you something broke, you fix it. She tell you y'all need to buy some new stuff, you own it. You know, you happen to be handy with your hands on top of all that. So it's whatever, as far as vehicles and stuff. And if you can't fix it, you get it to the shop. Or you just say fuck it and buy a brand new one. Then you back to work. You have to worry about your breakfast. You have to worry about your own lunch. You have to worry about what you're gonna eat for dinner when you get home, if you even has got enough energy to eat food. And on top of all that, when you do have some time off, some time to yourself, some time to be romantic, she don't want to be romantic. She don't want to, do anything with you. You an ATM, bro. You are an ATM. Like, that woman don't care about you, dude. Like, I ain't even trying to throw no rocks, but that woman don't care about you. Because from what it sounded like, If she does have an occupation and y'all are building on something, I get all that. But like still, that sounds like the majority of the stuff your occupation probably covering. Because most of the guys that I know that work them type of hours, I've seen their checks. Hell, I've been them guys and I've gotten their checks, and them checks ain't like nothing to sneeze at. So, and if you're taking care of like most of the maintenance around the house, around the vehicles and everything else, her funds go to what? Groceries? If that. Shit, for all I know, you might be taking care of the groceries too. What else? Cleaning. That's if she clean. If she don't, you got to clean on top of that. So you making sure she's living like a queen. I'm sure you're spoiling. I'm sure she's getting an allowance. If she ain't getting an allowance, she got her own money, which that right there is her money. She can do whatever she wants. But when's the last time she bought you a gift or, just tried to do something nice for you? That's drawing blanks and stuff, man. There it is right there, you know. And then when you're trying to be romantic with her, she don't feel like it. She got a headache or she too tired. Tired? That's crazy. So just letting you know she ain't into you. She's probably into somebody else or it just ain't clicking. But if you brought this up to her and it still continues to be an issue, once again, these are things that, like I said before, it ain't making sense. None of these things are making sense. Y'all, in both scenarios, y'all ain't on the same wavelength. Y'all need to just don't force it. Stop trying to make it happen for the gram. Stop trying to make it happen for the book. Stop trying to pretend. Stop trying to, it just ain't there. And maybe it used to be there, but it just ain't there. Now let's turn the page. Ladies, okay? If you're a baddie, that seems to be the coin term these days. If you're a baddie, right? And you got a man that just worships the ground you walk on. He's got you decked out in Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, all this shit, whatever you want, Michael Kors, anything, anything you want. Like he just got you straight, you taken care of, you doing everything, you stunning on hoes. And then you got that one friend that's like, oh wow, you so lucky, girl. One, you need to watch that bitch because she's saying you lucky because she eyeing what you got and best believe that at any given second. So, but yeah, oh, you so lucky, girl. You got a good man. So yeah, and bro, stay home. He stay inside. He quiet. He don't do shit. He don't talk shit. Nothing like that. For the most time, he probably play the game if he can. If not, he'll probably be asleep or whatever. Dude might even cook for you. Take you out, all types of shit. But you ain't got to worry about nothing. If you ain't a homebody, he's giving you the freedom to choose to become a homebody. Okay. And so should you choose to be a homebody, you can. So with that being said and done, that man come home, ain't nothing cooked. You ain't even try to order out. You just waiting on him to get home so y'all can go out. Y'all can get dressed, go out. You can take your pictures and stuff. Y'all can be all fancy and shit. But yeah, you ain't cook nothing for this man. You ain't even try to make him lunch for the next day or whatever. You ain't even thinking about making him lunch for the next day. You ain't even finna hop up and make that make sure this man get a decent breakfast, on his stomach. I ain't saying he looking for it, but he is. Like he's looking for effort. It ain't necessarily the breakfast, he just looking for effort. So the house ain't clean. So it is what it is. But you a baddie. You don't do shit like that. You's a baddie. So why the fuck would you cook, clean? Y'all on that Carter B tip. I don't cook and I don't clean. Okay, that's fine. But somebody does. See, y'all caught up in the status and shit. And do you not know that the way the world works these days, a woman of worth, a woman of wealth, 9 out of 10 won't go for a broke dude that approached them. If a broke dude hits on them, shut down. Not even worth her time. But a woman with no worth, a woman with zero worth whatsoever, will accept a man of worth approaching them. And the thing about that is wild, because that's the flip. That means a man with something can take somebody with nothing and invite them into their life. But a woman with something rarely, and I do mean rarely, ever takes a man with nothing and is like, hey, come be in my life. 9 out of 10 women with worth are looking for a dude with even more worth. And that's what's wild to me. So a baddie that brings no peace, adds no value to, a man's life. What is your place? And then you feel weird when you've created a door. See, people think that there's, no levels to it. There's levels to the shit. So now you've created a door because you don't do nothing, but you a baddie. Okay. And the worst baddies, like, they be thinking that, okay, well, I'm gonna do something in that bedroom. There's a lot of women that can do stuff in that bedroom. Just like I said before about the man, there's bitches that get paid to do stuff in that bedroom. Think about it. They get checks. On film, it's quantified, validated, like that's what they do. They've got awards and all this shit, male and females, but they get awards for this shit. So best believe there's people out there that probably ain't even in that field, but they do it better than you. They do. But on top of that, they bring value. They also cook. They clean. They know how to massage. They know how to do something. They know how to bring more value to themselves, to the relationship as a whole. And then they be surprised when they put on the bench or they sidelined or fired. They get their walking papers. Like, dang, what did I do? It ain't what you did. It's what you didn't do or wouldn't do. And then what's worse are the baddies that think that they can just be arm candy. Like, they don't cook, they don't clean, they don't do any of that shit. And they think that they can just not do nothing in the bedroom. Yeah, it's bad. There's issues. And then they wonder where the fights and stuff come from. Now, maybe to get that man, that baddie was not cooking still, but was like doing everything she could in the bedroom, to hook the man. That's what they feel. They gonna hook the man. And some women, they do try to think that a kid means they'll be together with that person forever. And that's not always true. But yeah, I feel like you and your partner, male or female, y'all all got to be on the same wavelength. Man, you got to bring value to that relationship. You got to bring value to yourself. Women, y'all got to bring value to a relationship. You got to bring value to yourself. The key takeaways I can give to you for this, for Valentine's Day, for February, for life, be consistent. Whatever got you to the game, keep that same energy all the way through to y'all done. Because whatever got you to the game is going to keep you there. It's going to keep you your spot. Wasn't one game Jordan showed up that he was trying to not win. Jordan showed up every time, scoring. Jordan showed up every time, balling his ass off. Why? That man just wanted to win. So just want to win in your relationships, man. Don't create doors. You create doors, somebody gonna open them, either from the inside or the outside. Somebody gonna open them. Don't create windows. Just create like a little cube with no windows, no doors, just y'all two inside. That's it. Make that bitch like a cave. Y'all gotta crawl through that motherfucker to go outside and go get fresh air and shit. And it fits only enough for y'all to get in there. That's it. That's what you need to make sure of. But I ain't finna stay here all day and preach. I'm pretty sure y'all got plenty of stuff to do. I know I got plenty of stuff to do. So stay tuned. Like I say, stay locked in. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If I tell you what, season 2, episode 1, and we're going to have plenty of more coming right back at you. Peace.